Wendy McSwain. Welcome to A Real Life Moment. This is episode 4 of a podcast that Real Life Church has started to give you a little moment of inspiration, share a conversation with you, or just give you a little piece of advice. Today I'm talking with Lisa Roney and Katie Norman about a program that's not new, but it's new to Real Life Church. So good morning, Katie. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Wendy. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Thanks for having us this morning.
Yes, thank you.
So let's start talking about MOPS. Now, what is MOPS? I didn't think to start that way, but people might not even know what MOPS means.
Right. Well, MOPS stands for Mothers of Preschoolers, and it's not a new program like you said, but it's new for our church, and it's kind of been in the works to bring to Real Life Church for a long, long time. For many years, we've talked about it, and the time just felt right to go ahead and try to kick this off. So through lots of planning and prayers and thoughts and different things, we have been able to come together, and our goal was to kick off our MOPS group in September. And just due to a lot of different factors, we had to push back a little bit. We've actually had a couple of meetings so far, and I think in January we'll start to get back on get to a more normal schedule. MOPS is really all about providing a safe environment for all moms to gather together. And we want everyone to feel welcome, because I think in generations past, you had moms of preschoolers and school-age kids who had lots of families surrounding them, lots of support and folks that could provide a natural community for them. But I think as folks have kind of moved away from families and kind of scattered across the country and really across the world, we've lost that. You know, we don't all have moms next door, or aunts or sisters or whatever to help give us that sense of community. So MOPS really is an opportunity to provide community for mothers of preschoolers in our area. So Katie, you want to tell us just a little bit about how MOPS got started?
Absolutely. MOPS was actually started by a group of 8 women in 1973 in Colorado, and they just came together in one house and had a time of worship and community, and they passed a basket around, and they all helped pay for childcare, and were able to have a meal without being interrupted, which is something that's unusual.
A warm meal
for preschool moms. Yeah, a warm meal, exactly, a warm meal. And it's just grown. It is, it's an international ministry now, still based in Colorado. But yeah, that's the history of MOPS, and there's several chapters all over the United States, obviously, and then everywhere else.
One thing I especially love about those ladies who started the original group is several of them are still friends. And the first meeting we came together, we watched a video of those ladies together, and I said to Katie, I want to go have lunch with them, because I love that, now I know they have grandchildren, maybe great-grandchildren, and they're still connected and friends from the connection they made way back when their babies were preschoolers. I love that.
Right.
I love that. So
one
thing about MOPS at Real Life Church, and we talk about this a lot, is, we're really in a church that values family, and you see that in a lot of different ways. But as a family ministry team, our goal is to partner with parents and to kind of walk alongside them with their preschoolers and their children and their students. And MOPS is just kind of a natural outflow of that to me. It's just a way that we can come alongside maybe some isolated or definitely tired moms of preschoolers. I mean, you remember those days where if you got a stretch of 5 hours of sleep, you thought you were, yes, so, hallelujah. So, we really want to come alongside moms, especially with this program, specifically MOPS, come alongside moms and encourage and strengthen their support system, and dig into God's word and see what he says to help them be the most successful mom they can be.
I think a common thought when you have kids that age is, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I doing the right thing? I don't have a training manual for how to take care of these little tiny people. So I can imagine just, coming together as a group, there's a lot you can share.
Well, and I would say MOPS certainly maybe doesn't have the answers for all of that, but sometimes as a new mom especially, I think it's encouraging to hear, oh yeah, my preschooler does that too. Yeah, my kid doesn't sleep through the night, had success with potty training yet, they won't eat their vegetables. You know, sometimes it's just nice to know you're not in it alone.
Right.
All right. So tell me a little bit, you said you've had a couple of meetings for MOPS, but what is the MOPS meeting? What do you do when you come to MOPS?
Katie, I'm gonna let you answer that.
You're going to let me answer that. Okay. MOPS meetings are actually very informal, casual, come together. We have like a hospitality beginning where you come in and we have food, some meetings, and just visit with each other and chat. And then we typically move on to have some type of a devotional or a video. MOPS puts together a complete series that every chapter it can follow if they choose to, which is great. So there's a theme every year that MOPS puts out for us, which is nice. And then we move on to a craft or just a time to be together, to share each other's concerns. And along with that, we can have a speaker that, comes and speaks on a specific topic. If there's something that, that we've heard from our moms that they would like to hear about, a typical one is to have either a child psychologist or a pediatrician or, that type of thing. Or, a mom that is great at organizing or crafting. They'll come in and share skills on how to, make your home more run, a little bit smoother, that kind of thing. And we'll have prayer requests and it's more than just a meeting. I mean, we'll have meetings twice a month,
Right.
starting in January. But we'll also have, outings as we're able to set up play dates and, maybe have bunko night for moms and, different things. So just really provide a overall community for our members. So.
Sounds fun.
Yeah,
It
and
is fun.
super laid back. Like there's not
It's very laid back. Yeah.
Very laid back. If you're coming in your exercise clothes from the gym or, straight from work, whatever, just, kind of come as you are. I would say, we're
Absolutely.
pretty small group driven at Real Life. And I would see our MOPS group kind of as their small group. That's the place you go for encouragement and to share your concerns and to have people pray with you and just to love on you, just build community there. So, I just see it as kind of a natural outflow of who we are.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing to remember as well is this MOPS groups, I mean, it is much like a small group, but you do not have to be a member of Real Life Church in order to be a member of this MOPS group. So, if there's a mom out there that wants to come and they have a neighbor that they feel like, this might be a good way to, introduce them to, the love of Jesus Christ, to introduce them to, to church and to community and to that type of support, that this would be a great outlet for that. So it doesn't matter. It's for every, and any mom. So
it's more for just our community than just our church.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. When you come to MOPS at Real Life Church, hopefully in the spring, when will the meetings be? Do we have kind of a schedule that we can share with people? And is there childcare?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we actually do have a schedule, and in January we'll start some more regular meetings. We were a little sporadic this fall getting things kicked off and some kinks worked out. But starting in January, we're going to meet the second and fourth Monday nights in the preschool area, and we'll meet from 6:30 till about 8. Initially, we had planned on childcare, but initially we thought all of this pandemic would be wrapped up by now. And as we're seeing, it's not right now. We're holding off on childcare. We have some sweet little godly ladies lined up to provide childcare for us when we're able to do that. But in January, and we'll probably play that by ear, Wendy. I'm not sure when we'll add that piece in. We're kind of hoping doing an evening meeting instead of a daytime meeting will help us with that. Maybe there's some more available hands for moms to to have some childcare outside of MOPS, but as soon as we're able to do childcare safely, we will add that to the mix. But for right now, no childcare, and the second and fourth Monday nights, 6:30 to 8.
I think that's great. I think that's a maybe something, you're thinking in your mind, I don't know if I can do something else when you have little children and you're so busy, but it's not every week, but then it's often enough that you could get to know people and get involved.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
often
just have
enough to
show
make
up.
connection.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just have to show up.
right.
There's nothing that, Lisa and I really, want to love on these moms and want to make this a time where they're able to come in and just, kind of relax a little bit and, have it be a time that they can become refreshed, versus stressing out about adding something else to their
Right.
plate. Want it to be something that they look forward to. Just
Kind of a restful time for moms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wendy, let me share
Exactly.
too, because MOPS, the name implies Mothers of Preschoolers. So there might be some moms that don't have preschoolers that are like, I would love to be involved with that. One way you can be involved with that, even if you don't have preschoolers, is something called a mentor mom. Right now we have one mentor mom and we're so excited to have her. But a mentor mom is just a mom that is a little further along in the journey of parenting. You may have school-age children, you may have college-age children, you may be a grandmama, and you want to pour into the lives of these moms that have preschoolers, and there's a place for you in this ministry if you're interested in serving in that way. To me, that's kind of an invaluable role. If we could have mentor moms for each 2 or 3 preschool moms, I think that would be amazing, because what is better for a preschool mom who's having a crazy hectic day than somebody a little bit further along than her to shoot her a text or give her a call to say, I just want you to know I'm praying for you this morning. I know it's probably busy at your house, but you can do this. That's invaluable. And that's not a huge time commitment. But enough that you're investing in the lives of these mamas to kind of encourage them along in their journey. I think that's a great way for folks to serve moms that do not necessarily have preschoolers but want to be a part of this ministry.
I was going to say, that it sounds so fun. Can we all come?
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to have a preschooler to come, so that's great.
You don't have to have a preschooler to come. So Katie, talk to us just a little bit about the Bible study piece of MOPS and what it is we're going to be looking at this year.
Okay. Like I mentioned before, MOPS has a theme that they do. It's a theme every year. And the MOPS year typically is a September to a May time frame. So it's not a calendar year. It's more of a school year situation. But the theme this year is called Decide to Rise. And it is specifically from Psalm 139:14. It says, I will praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. So this year, there are 2 things that we're going to talk about and focus on, and that if we believe them will, change our lives, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And because we're fearfully and wonderfully made, we have a lot of work to do, meaning that it was built in our DNA before we were born, that there were certain things that we were made to do. And sometimes we believe that motherhood can be a constraint or a hindrance on that, and it's not. You were made to utilize that part of you, and God created that part of you to work in tandem with the other. So that's one of the things we're going to focus on, is figuring out what those things are, what you were made for, and then how motherhood plays into that as well. So
I kind of love when things come together like this, because back in our preschool area, we teach our preschoolers 3 truths all the time. We teach them God made me, God loves me, and Jesus wants to be my friend forever. So I love that we're going to be talking about, to moms, God made me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And if we can get that truth into our hearts, I think it changes everything. It changes how we live our lives. It changes how we are as moms, as wives, as neighbors. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and God has work for me to do that He has just for me. So I'm excited about that piece of what we'll be doing this year.
I'm excited too.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Just being able to speak that over moms when they probably at some points didn't realize they were going to be so discouraged. in their
Right.
journey. It's joyful,
Right.
but it's
Well, I mean, I
also
think,
can be
yeah,
pretty discouraging.
Yeah. How many times though do you
sure.
hear moms say, I'm just a mom. I just am a stay-at-home mom. You know what? That's one of the most important jobs in the entire world. So we want to empower moms to live that out. Yeah, you are just a mom and you're changing the world through that. So I'm
Absolutely.
excited about, just infusing some truth into the day-to-day of a mom's life.
It'll change it. The
It
truth
will
changes
change their
things.
life forever. Absolutely.
It's exciting.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. I'll
exciting.
say we are pretty excited
Mhm.
about the journey ahead.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
MOPS personally for me has been, I've been involved with this organization for almost, 14 years now in some form or fashion. So I've been able to see the transition and actually live it personally from a preschool mom to an older mom. And I'm just excited that Real Life is offering this ministry. I'm excited for the moms and for our community that this is here. So I just know it's important work, and it means a lot to me. So I'm really excited to be able to help other moms with this.
Wendy, I'm not sure how much time we have left, but Katie, do you kind of have time to share your journey of how you came here to our area and how MOPS sort of impacted your life almost from the beginning of your time here in North Carolina?
Absolutely. I can share that. My husband and I have 2 children, and we moved, originally we're from Tennessee, but we moved to South Carolina, and that's where we were blessed to start our family. And then I was 7 months pregnant with Allie, our youngest, and God decided that it was time for us to move to Charlotte at 7 months pregnant and with a 4-year-old. It was great. Yeah. So we had developed, it was awesome. And we didn't know anybody, which was even better.
Right. Awesome.
So, but God has a plan, and off we went. But the first year was particularly tough. Our oldest one has ADHD and a litany of other, challenges that God has given him to utilize in his life. And so the first year with a newborn and this little guy and not knowing anybody, and we didn't have a church family yet, was a bit overwhelming. And I just remembered some of my friends from South Carolina that were involved with a MOPS group there and had loved it. And so I've reached out. There's a website, mops.org, and it will plug you into where the different groups are that are closest to you. And the closest one to me was in Huntersville. So I showed up with my almost 1-year-old, and it just immediately opened so many doors and offered such a sense of community and support. And knowing that at any given time, day or night, there was a group of women that were there to support all of us. And some of those women are some of my closest and dearest friends to this day, 14 years later, things that we've gone through. So it's just, I didn't have any family here. When we moved here, I didn't have any friends. My closest relatives were 4 hours away. So, when you have those middle of the night emergencies, who are you going to call? So that's what my MOPS group, that's what these women became, to me, is, those folks that you call in the middle of the night, that we all need that support. So
I think that just highlights our need for community.
It does. And it's, that's the first place that, Allie was introduced to, her little friends, and, learned how much Jesus loves her and that kind of thing.
Right.
So
I love that.
It was great.
That's good. So we're excited to kind of not replicate Huntersville, the experience
Absolutely
you
not.
had there, but to bring MOPS in and make it real life church version of MOPS.
Church.
And
that's right.
Because life is real and life is messy at times, and we just want to be a safe place for moms to come and experience that community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's great. I can't wait for people to start hearing about it and start attending so that they can see some of that. It's true that those friendships you make when you have little kids. I have some myself that have persisted, and it's those people probably know you like no other, just because of how the journey, because of the journey.
Yeah.
Because they're in it with you.
Yeah.
But one thing that we, as moms, and you might be getting ready to ask this, we will send out, sorry, I'm just running with it. We'll have a Sign Up Genius link that will be emailed out for folks, so they can start signing up, for January. And like we said before, that's not just for members of Real Life Church. You're able to invite your neighbor. This last meeting we had, one of our moms did invite her neighbor, so that was exciting. So think about who else you might want to reach out to.
Wendy, right now we're just a little limited in size, just based on social distancing and things like that. But we can have up to 24 moms right now, so we have plenty of space. So if somebody's listening and they're interested in coming but don't want to come by themselves, grab a friend, sign up, and come on in. We would love that.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you, Katie and Lisa, for your time and for telling us a little bit about MOPS. For more information about MOPS or about Real Life Church, go to discoverreallife.net. On there, you can find the Wonderway page, and there's lots of information about MOPS. So have a great week. All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Wendy.